Brilliance Audio.
The Fire and the Ore by Olivia Hawker. Performed by Marli Watson and Billie Fulford-Brown. Prologue. Tamar. Centerville, Utah Territory. March 1857. The day was grey and cold, with a blustering wind that blew the rain in sheets up the empty road. Tamar sat primly on the carriage seat, just close enough to Thomas that she could hold the handway over both their heads, not close enough to touch him. Thomas was not her husband yet. She could hear her own heart over the rain beating down on the umbrella, and the hiss of the carriage wheels rolling through mud. This was the day she had waited for, the day she had suffered for, the reward she had left her home in England to claim, the promise for which she had walked more than 1,000 miles, through the merciless heat of the summer prairie, through the fatal cold of the Rocky Mountains, through death itself, to the land of Zion, the kingdom of heaven on earth. I could have wished for a fair day, she thought, glancing down at her pale blue skirt. Rain had run off the edge of the handway to darken the hem of her fine new wool. Tamar did her best to tuck the skirt closer to her ankles, under the shelter of the umbrella, and scolded herself for the disloyal wish. If the Lord had chosen rain for her wedding day, then so be it. The designs of the Almighty were often inscrutable to women and men, and Tamar had already made up her mind to trust in God, to go wherever He directed, without question or complaint. The carriage left the road and pulled onto the muddy lane of the Centerville meeting house. Thomas reined in his cart horse and climbed down, his age-worn boots splashing in a puddle. He tied the horse to a hitching post and offered his hand, helping Tamar descend from the seat. At the feel of his fingers clasped with her own, Tamar's cheeks heated. When she stood on solid ground, such as it was, she tried to withdraw her hand, but Thomas held it tightly, and with a small, secretive smile, she relaxed and allowed him to go on holding her. Why not, after all? Soon enough, they would be husband and wife. There was no shame in this act, no scandal. She repeated those words insistently in her mind as they made their way to the meeting house door, pressed close together under the handway. Thomas opened the door for Tamar and took the umbrella, shaking it well before folding it closed. All the while, his eyes never left hers. She couldn't seem to stop gazing at his rough, broad face in wonder and in love. She felt like a foolish girl, smitten and staring. She was foolish, and well did she know it.
"You look beautiful,"
Thomas said, leading her down the meeting house aisle. Tamar smoothed her free hand down the front of her skirt. She had made her wedding dress herself, of course. She'd bought the fine blue fabric with money Thomas had given her, and though she'd been obliged to make the garment in secrecy, sewing in her secluded bedroom by candlelight after the rest of the household had gone to sleep, she had treasured every moment of its making. Each tuck and stitch seemed to bind her love into tangible form. Some day, she would pass the dress along to her own child, to a daughter with Thomas's dark hair and proud stature, his American accent, his unwavering faith. So clearly could Tamar see that future, the children she would bear, the many years of happiness to come, that she scarcely noticed the emptiness of the meeting house. She could have wished for a congregation of friends and family to witness her marriage, as fervently as she'd wished for a sunny day. Tamar allowed one pang of regret, what she wouldn't have given to share the joy with her mother and her sisters. Despite her earnest efforts toward perfect faith and obedience, she couldn't quite reconcile herself to the loneliness of this ceremony. She hadn't been able to invite her mother or her 2 sisters to the blessed event. She wasn't permitted even to tell them of her great happiness. Resolutely,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?